So, welcome everybody to our Be the Glue series where we share short and casual, but really impactful conversations with individuals who have been the glue by bringing people, ideas, efforts, and they even create meaningful or even navigate challenges. So, today I'm joined by Dr. Özge Kantas. She is a social and personality psychologist, trauma-informed group facilitator, and a certified psychodramatist with credentials both in Europe and US. Özge, I am so happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Alina. It's such a pleasure to be your guest after our so many different coffee chit chats in every corner of Rochester, like before and after many different events. Now I am officially chatting with you.
I love it. I know. I feel like I see you everywhere. I go everywhere. Özge's everywhere, guys. um,
As if you're not there.
I know, right? I'm there with you. I love it. So, Özge, you do so much work in the community at St. John Fisher University, both in our local community and also in Turkey and globally. I feel like I
Mhm.
see you and your content everywhere. But as we are thinking about, how you bring your science and the soul and the systems for this human growth, what does
Mhm.
it mean to you?
Yeah, Alina, you know what? I have been thinking of this daily. Like, that's my daily check-in with myself. What am I bringing together today? Like, what parts of human essence am I playing around today? Is like my daily value check-in to me. Because like I'm a scientist, I'm a teacher, I'm a practitioner, um, and plus I have so many other roles. I'm a mother, I'm a community member, I am a volunteer. I am a woman. I am an entrepreneur and I'm a facilitator. I'm a group psychotherapist. And then all of those different roles that I have, how am I gonna, first of all, blend them together? How am I gonna glue them together? So, as a group therapist, what I really know is the total is bigger than the sum of its components. So to me, being a glue is making a meaningful whole of the parts, of the pieces, whether it is chapter one and chapter two when I'm teaching in school, whether it is management and marketing when I'm teaching in business school, whether I am uh, doing consulting or advising to a product from human-centered motivational systems, whether I am running a executive processing group for leaders and their emotions. What I'm already doing is that's my daily job to make people understand how pieces come together to make a better, meaningful whole. If that makes sense to
Yeah,
you.
yeah, and so, I mean, you play so many roles, and we all do, right? Like, we all play
Yeah.
so many roles in our lives and in our, from the family to work to business, if you
Mhm.
run a business, and, like, all the different roles you even shared, for you. Do you, find yourself shifting hats a lot, or is it the more how you do life, you do work kind of a concept?
I think I am, yes, shifting the hats in a way that it is stepping in and out of different roles flexibly, adaptively, playfully, and joyfully, because that's the indicator of psychological health to me. How spontaneous you are, how creative you are, and to what extent you can act on your spontaneity. I'm not talking about impulsivity here. I'm not talking about that stupid, reckless, I can say whatever I want, I can do whatever I want. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about the healthy, functional, executive system within you among your different roles. That's how you are curating your roles, I would say. Not simply switching on and off from one role to another, but how you are curating your different roles in an integrated way. In that sense, like Some people are obsessed with work-life balance, for example, and I know it's a myth. We can talk about work-life integration. Likewise, it is role integration. How are you integrated or identified with different roles, different parts, different components of yourself within your personality as an organization? Because, yeah, we talk about organizations, companies, and their cultures like it is their personality. Every company has a personality, right? That's their culture. Likewise, us as a personality, as a human
Mhm.
organization, our personality is also our culture. So what kind of a culture do I have within myself? So think of a toxic organization, for example. Finance is fighting with HR, HR ignores sales is talking behind logistics or like strategy, whatever. Likewise, some people's personality, some people's human organism is where their different parts, different roles are also fighting with one another to be the one who says the last sentence, to be the one who is in power, to be the part who dominates the other parts. So it's not about switching from one department to another, but making those inner departments work together, integrate together.
And you use the word or a term, psychological flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of the strategies that you teach? And I feel like that is such a skill,
Mm-hmm.
especially in today's world with, just the world being in shambles. Is psychological flexibility one of those tools to help you what you're describing, all these different roles, that role integration, to
Mm-hmm.
happen in your life and allow it to happen in a fluid
Mm-hmm.
way and adapt
Yes.
in the situations that you're presented with?
I have a framework that I call a self-psychologist. And by the way, when I say psychologist, it's not only about being the therapist of yourself, but psychology has 60 something subdisciplines. So you choose which subdiscipline you want to be a psychologist for yourself. I call it self-psychologist, understanding your own psychological needs, assessing your own pain points and gain points, and then approaching yourself from that science informed, science backed approach for your entire soul. So, this is what I teach in my trainings, in my master classes, what I'm writing in my books, what I'm like operating in my workshops in a playful way. So, play is our brain's favorite way of learning, and play is our brain's favorite way of executing. Every leader says, "Oh, we need to have a game plan," but it is rarely playful. Their game plans are not playful. So this is how I am teaching them to first lead themselves, then lead others, and then leading the change towards where they where they really want to go. Most of the time, people climb those corporate ladders or people are appointed to some leadership roles not based on their human skills or psychological skills, but based on their task
Mhm.
execution.
Yeah, getting stuff done. Yes. Yeah, they
So
were great at getting their stuff done. And now, hey.
they, yeah, and then they don't know how to operate with other people's. Like I work with so many executives and managers and leaders who regret stepping into that leadership role, even though they were like so happy before that, like before
Mhm.
stepping into that role, because they were in full control of their performance, their outcomes, their execution of their own tasks. But when they step into that role, it is a chaos versus order, and how they are going to lead themselves and lead others to co-create that sociodynamic effect. Think of this as like a playground. We need
Mhm.
playground safety. Everyone wants to play. No one wants to get punished because of the way they play. That applies to workplaces, that applies to businesses. And I like how one of my former clients called me as a you are a business therapist.
Yeah.
I like that. I was like officially it is called organizational consulting through group psychotherapy, but probably it is boring to say it like that.
And probably a little scary. Like when you hear psychotherapy, you're like, "Oh, what does that mean?" Right? Like your mind goes into so much around like mental health and right. Yeah, you're right. But back to your point, you made a point before that is kind of sticking with me. So I feel like we've gone through work-life balance
Mhm,
towards more that work-life integration.
mhm,
And what I'm thinking that with AI and with automations and just technology in general, kind of getting into our lives and our everyday lives, I
mhm.
wonder if you see a change in how people approach life to more of a life first work, not necessarily that work life balance or work life integration.
I am taking this from a different angle because people have been neglecting their inner work for so long because that was what was defining corporate America. Like no emotions, no nothing, no psychological needs. Just deal with it. Just get over it. Just like be like a non-sticky pan of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But because they have been neglecting their inner work, their inner business, their unfinished businesses for the sake of being successful, making so much money, launching 35 different businesses whatsoever. When you look at all of those 7, 8 figure, like $1 million, $1 billion business people, all they preach about is how money is not important, right? So there is a commonality in that sense. Then they come to a point where they understand that they neglected their inner work while focusing on the outer work. So, for the sake of competency, for the sake of being competent or successful, their autonomy or their relationships inside and outside were somehow neglected. Like I'm coming from a family business. My grandfather, for example, he was always saying that I didn't know what fatherhood means. Now
Mm.
I'm experiencing what grandfatherhood means. That's not unique to my grandfather. I know many, many, many
Yeah.
business owners say the same. So because they have been neglecting their inner work for so long, because it was not allowed to express their emotions, it was not allowed to even feel their emotions. Now we are seeing a trend to reverse engineering what has been missed, and that became the bring your whole self to work, like be authentic, be genuine, which also is another extreme. Like, do we really want everyone to bring their entire self to work? Like, really seriously, do I want to really hear, I don't know, what happened with your mother-in-law in the weekend? Really, is this really what I want to hear? Or all of your insecurities about your marriage, for example? What do we mean by that true self or inner work or authenticity, courage? And
Mhm.
all of a sudden, then it shifts to the other way around, which is leaders and like people, employees, founders, co-founders cannot find time to execute the task only by focusing on the emotions. And that was a trend. For example, UK spent so much money on psychological first aid training or empathy training for their managers, and which all of a sudden, all managers, all of those like C-suite or executives or like senior managers pretended as if they are therapists. No, you're not. And then they got overwhelmed because they don't know how
Oh,
to like they
oh
don't know how to
no.
manage.
Oh, that can go sideways so fast.
So fast, so fast. So this is why, like for example, at Fisher, I have a course in our MBA program, trauma informed leadership. In the beginning of semester, sometimes students like can get like kind of suspicious and nervous about what the hell we are gonna do. Are we going to confess our traumas to each
Mhm.
other for the entire semester? And what is that? Another Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, a Hollywood movie scene? And then I am blessed to see their transformation into understanding how our unfinished businesses can finish our businesses eventually if we leave them unchecked. But at the same time, no, we are not fixing people's traumas because you're not broken. There were something happened to you that was wrong. It wasn't what is wrong with you. Everyone brings a backpack in their shoulders and an invisible load, invisible emotional, cognitive, or behavioral patterns that did not emerge in the workplace, but that's coming to workplace. So how can we create that sociodynamic effect where, yes, emotions are welcomed. No, we are not here to pamper each other and like pity each other of what happened to one of another. But at the same time, how can we use emotions as a fueling factor to do something better together? And you have Greek roots. You can tell what does emotion mean? What does motivation mean? It comes from movere, like what makes you to take action. So instead of talking the talk, if we can playfully convert it into walking the walk, that's the value of moving, the movere, the emotion, the motivation. So it's not like about like fluffy cliches about like never give up. No, when to give up. And if it is really, really important for you, then don't give up on that.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So, okay.
So that's the integration.
Talk a little bit about empathy, because it's, are you born with empathy? Can you learn empathy? Tell me your take around empathy.
Empathy is, from a scientific viewpoint, it is one-sided. It is from either me to you or you to me. On the other hand, tele, T-E-L-E, tele is another concept, term, that is like a gluing factor between you and me, because it is from me to you and from you to me and from me to us and from us to, again, to individuals. So that's like the cement of any group dynamics. That's the invisible network, the connection that comes in dual direction. And this is what we are amazingly able to unpack with group therapy principles in organizations. Then organizations can become healing organizations, or it can become organizational healing, not in a therapy way, but like I always say, not everything is therapy, but anything can be therapeutic if we design the system, if we design the environment accordingly. So it's not about not having any conflicts. It's about learning to have healthy conflicts in a way that we can turn it into action. So in that sense, one step further from empathy is compassion. And compassionate inquiry. Instead of asking what's wrong with you, it is about asking what happened to you and how can I be there for you, create another system, to create another condition, to create that environment that is psychologically needs supportive for all of us. And sometimes, yes, ideally this is what we need, but sometimes it won't happen. And then how we can craft, like a crafting, job crafting, it's a term, right? Job crafting, how we can psychologically need craft or emotional crafting for our own inner organization, for our inner department. So that's my take on empathy instead of a one-directional road.
I got so many questions. I mean, we need like a whole. I feel like I say this to every conversation that I'm having with people, because we can get really deep in some of these things. And like I've been in your trainings, and I've been in a recent one that you it was very interesting, and I hadn't thought of that. And I've heard you say before the not everything is therapy, but everything can be therapeutic. And initially, like, I had to stop and think about that. And I noticed you bringing scarves in one of like a recent event.
It was a family business event, right?
Yes. And it was multiple leaders, seasoned leaders, who had gone through crisis in their life, and they had to take
Mhm,
over the family business either at a young
mhm,
age or
mhm.
under, very difficult
Unexpected
circumstances.
pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, under yeah, yeah. And, it would I mean, first of all, they were phenomenal at how vulnerable they were and how much they were sharing, in a
Mhm,
public setting about, very traumatic events in their life, but
mhm,
how they
mhm,
had to overcome it. And at some point, you brought scarves out.
mhm.
And I was like, Is that a scarf? Like, what? Tell me more." Like, that is that but it follows that line, what you just said, like, everything can be therapeutic, and maybe it's that feeling, the touch that in
Mhm,
the
mhm,
moment helps you
mhm,
with whatever it's familiar or to
mhm,
take you maybe from the uncomfortable situation.
mhm. Yeah. So our body is our first ever container, but that's the container, and how to what extent we can contain certain things depends on our emotional capacity. In that sense, trauma is not what happens, not directly what happens to us, but how we react and how we perceive and what kind of resources we have to take this on. It can be, think of a really from a playground metaphor, you can see some kids not feeling safe and secure to climb up that ladder of the
Mhm.
swing
Mhm.
or like a whatever. And you can see some kid jumping over one place to another and dare to do that. So it's about what kind of inner resources and external resources for us. In our body, this is our nervous system being regulated or dysregulated. And in business life, most of our emotions are suppressed, or we learn that it is not safe to express, or we learn to survive by neglecting them, yielding it who we are, not being identifying or integrating with our values just to fit into someone else's script. So that simple scarf or those simple props or materials that I brought to the other workshop. It was about playful leadership in the International Serious Play Conference, right? So that the
Yeah.
one that you joined, all of those games, with or without any props, signals our brain, signals our nervous system is that you're not helpless. You can switch roles, you can de-role yourself, or you can step in and out from some roles, or anyone in the group, a person, a prop, an animal, an
Yeah.
imagined friend, anything can help you. You're not alone. So in that workshop, you witnessed some laughter and tears
Yes.
equally.
Yeah. It's
It
pretty
was
fast. It was like, we
Mhm.
didn't know each other at all.
Yeah. So that's in that sense, psychological safety is becoming a buzzword in the industry, especially in learning development and organizational development industry. What do we really mean by psychological safety? From my end, I call play as the antidote of trauma or like traumatic stress.
Let that sink in for a second. I don't think that I had thought of play as the antidote to trauma, which,
Mhm,
I mean, I use play in training sessions, like, you wanna have,
mhm,
moments of
mhm,
unplugging from, or like collaboration and engagement, of course, right? But unplugging
mhm,
from, like, the traditional, like, just sit there and
mhm,
listen to slides, right? So I try to bring in, like, Lego bricks and different activities and different things
mhm,
that I've been trained as a learning and development professional to utilize, right? But I don't think that I had ever connected, like, this antidote piece. Tell
mhm.
me more about that.
And it is not only about OD and HR. When I work with marketing people, the moment that I bring toys and props and gamification to the space, they are more able to step out from their own mindset and step into their customers or clients or others' mindset. So it's again beyond empathy. It's from me to you to you to me. It becomes bi-directional when we make it playful, when we design it based on that human motivation principles. So I will go back to my Disrupt HR talk that I did 2 years ago in your like the one that you organized. Do you remember my topic?
It was trauma informed. I thought it was trauma informed leadership.
It was about play. Like we were born to play. Remember the title was
But
already
yes.
we
So
were we were born to play. And it's interestingly, Alina, it became the third mostly watched Disrupt HR video that's somewhere globally. If you
and we're totally linking it below. We're going to link it again and we're going to reshare it. We're going to reshare it. Now, because Ozge, you've done a couple
Mhm.
of talks,
Yes.
yeah, and TEDx talks too. We should have
Mhm.
said that in the beginning. You're rocking it, in all these platforms. But okay, so but when do we stop to play? As you know, like my kids, I have an 11 and an 8-year old. They're still playing. They're still, kids. Like when do we stop playing?
Can I reverse the question? In a way that why do we stop playing? Why should we stop playing?
No.
Yeah. Now we have one of the biggest play museums in the world, like a strong museum of play. And one of the quotes over there says, we don't grow up, but we don't stop playing because we grow up. We kind of lose that spontaneity because we stop playing. And if you look at longitudinal studies of human psychology, all of those Oxford studies, Harvard studies, you see that those who are happily at the end of their lives, their 70s, 80s, 90s, or maybe even more, they are still playful inside. It's not about like physically playing those games or Lego bricks or dolls or
Mhm,
cars, but it is
mhm.
about that spirit of playfulness and gamifying the life itself. And I wouldn't recommend anyone stop playing in that
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, now you put me in so many even more thoughts now, um, about how I infuse play in my day to day, which I don't think I do a lot. I think, in HR especially, we just go after fire drills, after fire drills, after fire drills. And especially like year end is coming up. So it's even worse now. And now you throw, the world in shambles. So that's
Mhm.
even now. I don't think that people are intentional at
Yeah,
all.
I don't think,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what I'm also realizing. And recall one of the games that every kid play, make believe. So play is in fact making something and believing in that thing until it becomes real. So it is the innovation of all the necessities.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you cannot play, you won't make it happen. Think of it, entrepreneurs, think of innovators, think of
Yeah.
those who dare to find out something or come up with something that was once impossible, but now possible. Like chatting with AI about your daily schedule, it's a game, it's a play. Like you're saying, hey, in my refrigerator, I have those 4 ingredients. Play with it and give me a recipe. That's the prompt engineering that if you're good at using AI, that means you're good at prompt engineering. That means you're also good at playing in life because that's also prompting.
Ooh,
Here's
okay.
here's what I want, here's what I
Yeah.
have, here's my desired outcome, and let's play and see
Yeah.
if it's working.
The tinkering, like, because I do like, I
Yep.
say I like to tinker. That's a term. An older, like a prior mentor of mine, he would use the word tinker a lot, and I'm like, I love going into AI tools and just tinkering around and playing, I guess, with different prompts, see what comes out, or using AI agents, and
Mhm.
that's interesting. Yeah. So, hmm. What is one thing that you would advise either, let's say not just HR professionals, but people maybe who are struggling with the amount of change happening around, with the amount of shift that is happening around us? What would be one simple piece of advice to share?
Don't be alone. Like, don't isolate yourself, join a group. Like, we don't have a problem of resources. we have a problem of allocation and reallocation of resources, either financially, either emotionally, either psychologically, either socially, either spiritually, like either environmentally. I think whatever it is for you, but belonging to a group, joining to a, whether it's a processing group, whether it's a like a professional organization, whether it is a, I don't know, local like music band, whether it is your neighborhood gang, whatever it is for you, whatever is missing for you, but being surrounded by others in a structured way can help you to process whatever it is going on in your life.
Find your tribe. Find your
Yeah,
tribe
find
and
your
nurture it.
tribe. Yes,
It's
exactly.
interesting you say that because, like, literally this past week, I've had 4 people who reached out, and either they were laid off, or individuals who are looking to find something else just because
Mhm,
they don't want to be in the same organization. All 4 had a very interesting pattern that shared with me, and I was reflecting on it this morning with another friend. They haven't nurtured their network in
mhm,
5, 10 years. One of them I hadn't spoken in 5 years, and first thing they said was, "I've been alone at home working remotely for the past 5, 6 years.
mhm,
My network is no longer there." And
mhm.
and it's so, like, we get so much into the day-to-day that we forget how to nurture our relationships. So being, like, really, really intentional, it goes back to that connection. Like, join a group, find your tribe, find the people that align with who you are, your values. And that's why, like, I feel like we're part of very similar groups locally.
Mhm, mhm,
And
mhm.
it's things like that. Like, if I need something, I can reach out, and I know that I can find someone to support me when I need it the most. And same for them. They can reach out anytime, and I can try to support and connect them with other people. Maybe if I can't support, I can connect them with somebody else who can. And that's the power of the tribe.
That's the power of tribe. And think of when a child is feeling lonely, what is the first thing that we look for? Is there a playground group around? Like, is there any play group that I can hook my child with?
Oh,
So we are lacking those adult play groups. And when I say play, it's not about like playing bingo together, but it is a mental play, physical play. Like a couple of weekends ago, I met with one of the most wonderful women in our business community at Highland Park just to walk and talk. Like instead of sitting in a cafe or a restaurant, hiking was our play for that day. We did hiking and then chatting. So it's an adult play. It's an adult playgroup for us. And turning back to that discussion about empathy, when you are alone, when you isolate yourself, the emotion is pity. One step further is sympathy. One step further is empathy. One step further is compassion.
um,
But the ultimate form is tele, from me to you, you to me. So it doesn't make any hierarchy between you and me. Who helps who, we both benefit from that connection.
okay. Well, okay. I have some research to do now. I feel like, wow, so much information. Ozge, where can people find you? Where are you hanging out these days? Tell us.
Well, my home base is Sanjan Fisher University. Come find me. We have the best dining hall.
Yes, we do. We do. We
So
do.
that's where like my days are in general. And other than that, my website is ozgekantas.phd. I think it's so cool to have an extension of .phd instead
I
of
saw
.com.
that. I was like, that is a nice domain. I love it. We will share it. It's on the links.
Yeah, yeah. And then on my website, like we can I give a gift to our audience, to our
Sure,
listeners,
sure. You
Alina?
have a little document, or is it a PDF?
Yeah, that playful leadership two-pager, the cheat sheet that I created for that international
That was a
series
good
play
one.
conference. I would be happy to share that. blueprint, the little cheat sheet with
Right.
our audience here. And yeah, that's the two places that people can find me to play together.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Özge. It's been so awesome talking to you. I love our conversations every time I see you, everywhere I see you. And so we get into some deep conversations and the world needs people like you. They need glue like you. So keep holding it
Mhm.
all together, one connection at a time, because I really think it's needed in today's world. So thank you for doing it.
And can I add one community at
Yes.
a time as well? Because we
One
need community.
community at a time. Go
One
disrupt.
circle at a time.
Thank you,
Thank
Oscar.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It was a wonderful conversation. Thanks for having me here. Let's go and play with other roles that we have in the world.
Yeah, go put the next hat on and let's go and play. Actually, my kids probably are looking for me and they probably will want to play. And yours is waiting at home.
Likewise.
Take care
Until we play next time.
until we play.